I thought I would discuss my recent wheeling dealings, the little bargains I've done and the sales I've had, and where I've put that money to use to a degree. I haven't gone on a massive spending spree. I've very much been very self-controlled. So yeah, I just thought it might be helpful to people who maybe have a similar interest, like especially gaming, tech, things like that, really, because maybe it helps them maybe source certain things or consider specific products. So where the hell was I? Here we go. So these are the recent items I sold, which obviously helps. So one was an iPhone 14 Pro because I recently got a new contract on an iPhone 17 Pro. And to be honest, I'm really happy with it. I really am. I was debating whether to cancel the contract, to keep my old phone, because the 14 Pro is still really good. Like, you would argue there's not that specific reasons to keep the new one, but it does have better battery life. The processor's more powerful, so it's going to last longer through the generations. I'm not someone that intends to upgrade too often. It'd be 3 or 4 years before I upgrade again. But couple of things I like about this that I didn't have on my old phone is it has a little button on the side here, which is great because I'm someone who likes using the camera on the videos. So you can literally enable the camera from this, and then you can slide around with the zoom and stuff. I don't. It's only going to be little things that make a phone worthwhile upgrade anyway. People look for these magic changes. Well, why change something that works? It just needs refinements, and it refines it. So the battery's better. And there's something else I did use, and I thought, to be honest, that's going to be really, really normal over the course of the future generations. But yeah, if you didn't have it before that, you're missing out, and that is the dual camera. The fact that you can record looking with the camera facing one way, and then have another box with the camera facing you. So that's really good in like point of view perspectives and things. You know, let's say even if you're out and about, you want to take a photo. Let's say it's sort of cathedral, and use video in it. You can literally video it, but you can also show that you're there, you know? I know that's like one example. The other is VR. You're playing VR. You can show your reaction to it as you can see it on the screen. There's use case scenarios, and it's like, that was for me, these little things. And then when I got this case, which is only a cheap case, £8, I know I'm going digressing here, but it's come with two privacy screen protectors and the case. And I thought, for £8, ridiculous. It's literally all the ports exactly in the right spaces. So it's really nice. I'm actually really that's ridiculous, but it's like, in terms of like, I'm impressed. It doesn't feel like a lack. It doesn't make the phone feel less classy. That's one little thing. So anyway, so there's my sales. So the wheel frustrated me because I love my steering wheels, and there is quite a pompous community within the gaming industry in general. But there's some people who think they're better than other people, and it always drives me nuts. So there's people that maybe latched on to simulator, especially racing simulators, and they consider themselves like the messiahs, and anyone who has inferior hardware is just playing with toys. There's this really stupid attitude to it, which I just laugh at every time I see it. I've been gaming for far longer than a lot of these people have. I was gaming when it was considered geeky, back on like a Super Nintendo and in high school with the Sega Saturn and things. I've had all generations of gaming, and I've been PC gamer since its infancy, So I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else, but I'm saying I've experienced enough, and I know quality and I know not quality. And someone that's just joined gaming over the last 5 years and thinks they know everything, I just find it laughable. They've got no history in it at all. So it is what it is. So anyway, a little bit of education on the steering wheels, for instance. There are cheap brands, and I wouldn't go near them. If there's no resistance and no accuracy with the wheel, what's the point? That is a toy. But the Logitech ones are not toys. They're actually really good for the price. Because what one person thinks is poor is they're looking from £500 up to £1,000 setups. It's like, not all of us are simmers, About 10, 15 years ago, I wanted a sim rig. I really was excited about the idea of it. I don't have the space for it to have like a bucket seat with a frame and have it all. I'd love to have something like that one day. But right now, that's not practical because I have other gaming needs. So I'm not prepared to remove my desk and replace that with a sim rig when I've got other interests. I'm a gamer first and foremost. I like playing I love my PC gaming. I like sitting on the sofa with the PS5, and I enjoy playing on my Nintendo Switch too. It's surprisingly good. It's far superior to the previous generation. But anyway, so I have interests. So I'm looking for something to enhance my experience, I'm not just racing. I like if I'm going to use the wheel, I have sims I like, but I actually really like my trucking. I like Euro Truck and American Truck Simulator. They're incredible. Anyone that's used them, they know. You don't need a fancy £1,000 wheel for that. You don't. this does it. It's that you can use your indicators through certain buttons. It's a whole thing. It's so great. So that's there. I'm just trying to get through to these pompous ones, really. So, but my issue with the wheel was it was the Xbox variant. So when I bought it, I've had it a few times, but like a lot of people, and I can attest to this. This isn't if you're not a deep sim racer, so like you have other gaming needs. People will find themselves in a similar bracket to me, where you might use the wheel for a month or two, and then there might be like a periods of like 3 months, 4 months where you don't even touch it. So what on earth would be the point of investing hundreds, if not nearly £1,000 on a setup that won't be used all the time because we have other interests beyond the racing? So for someone like me, I don't want to invest that sort of money, but I do want the setup available, and then I don't have to feel guilty for having it either. Because if you've got a lot of money sitting around of equipment that's not being used, it's just stupid. So, like I say, I've sold them over the years because I weren't using them. Then I always regretted it. So now I've decided I'm always going to have a wheel setup. So when I bought the G920, I think I bought it like a year or two ago because I'd missed it. And it was a case I could have get I'd bore people slightly. They're both the same wheel. They've just got slightly different buttons for respective consoles. So effectively, the G29 and the G920 are both Logitech. They're both exactly the same underneath. They're just literally one is compatible with a PlayStation and one's compatible with Xbox. Both work on PC. So predominantly being a PC user, I didn't really care. I just wanted whichever one was cheaper. In hindsight, I should have just got the PlayStation variant, but hey ho. I saved about £10-15, so in hindsight, I should have just gone with the PlayStation version. So I'd say if you're looking for a wheel, the G920, the G29, just think of which console you might want to play later if you're PC gaming. That's all I would say. Now, they're about £200 brand new. You go on eBay, you can get about £110, £120. And as long as you check the photos and read the descriptions, you're going to get a good experience. It's not why pay more. But again, if you want the new thing, but the reality is when you buy anything used, you can get a premium model for the same price as a weaker model new. You know, that's what you got balance. So anyway, I sold the G920 because I've got VR for the PlayStation 5 and Gran Turismo 7 in VR is incredible. You only have to look it up. It's mental. But once you're actually doing it yourself, it's a crazy experience. I've done F1 on the PC. That was great too. You know, it wraps the car around you. You're literally it, you know. So having that experience of a control pad isn't quite the same vibe. It's still nice, but you know you're missing a huge part of the immersion here. And I need a PlayStation version to be able to play that. And you can't just swap a wheel. It's impossible, near enough. So you have to sell one to buy one. So I sold my wheel and I felt quite sad when it went. Like literally, I was like, I love that wheel and it's in such great condition. Part of me was thinking I could have just kept two, one for the living room with the PlayStation and one at my desk for my simming, but it's just stupid. It doesn't take long to move it. So that's no. So anyway, I've gone to replace the wheel and I'm looking at the G29s, the exact opposite, the equivalent. And they're around about the same price. Maybe I got to pay an extra £10 again, like before. And then I started having a little idea in my head. There's a newer model. It's not much different, but it is a newer model. And the price difference new is ridiculous. I think it's about £100 more or more. And all it's got extra is apparently the brake pedal's slightly better. So it's more reactive rather than stiff. And it's got an extra motor in it. So effectively, if you drive over grass and other little things, so normally it's got a traction motor. So it does give you resistance when you go around a corner and things. Great. But with this extra motor, apparently if you hit the grass and things, it actually has an whole other motor and you can feel the engine rocking as well. Like I think that's cool because subtle, but the whole point is immersion, isn't it? So if it's going to feel like we're actually much control of the vehicle, and we feel like we're within this vehicle, especially with the VR, this is going to be mental. So we're looking at 115 for the one I got, yeah? Then I went and purchased this one. And I got a £10 voucher. So if you're ever on eBay, have a look at the voucher situation. You can make some savings. I got that for 142 and I got 114 for the previous one. So I've paid, an extra £30? And I've actually gone up a level. So it's not just I've sold one to replace it. I've sold it and actually upgraded it. So it'll be the better version, the recent model, which is a nice upgrade. And it's gone from Xbox to PC, and Xbox instead of Xbox and PC, we're going PlayStation and PC, and a more premium model. Maybe subtle differences, but it's still premium. As I say, there's a lot in the community that will say, don't get that, don't get Logitech, go Thrustmaster. I've had a Thrustmaster. I had a Thrustmaster, I think it's T500. I don't know if I think it was RS on the end. I'd have to look it up. I can't remember the exact thing now. I know it's T500. It cost me about £350 back in the day. And that was a great wheel. That's probably the best wheel I've had. It was a bit bulky, but that was a great wheel and pedal set. I get it. But I can't say that my experience of this has been poor. I think it's still premium. I think it's still great. And it fulfills my needs. You know, I don't feel guilty for having it. It's not cost me an arm and a leg, is it? It's not cost that much. £150. Anyway, so when I sold it, because I haven't been using the wheel lately, I did think I probably won't. I might actually not buy one right now. I might just save the money and put it towards other things. But then I thought about it and I thought, I know what I'm like. As soon as I want to do something with the wheel and it ain't there, I lose my shit. So like, I do like my tracking. I have most of the DLC. So DLC on the tracking, for instance, is all the regions. So in America, it's the states, different states. So you've got so much different diverse environments. In Euro Truck, it's actual countries. So you've got different cultures and everything. It's just so fun when you're driving through, you know. And if you haven't got a wheel, I'm not playing with a control pad. It's not the same. But when I got my wheel, you literally do your indicating, you can turn. That'll work with VR as well. I've done that before. That's quite fun. Probably won't bother though. A lot of hassle, and I quite like just having it on my ultra wide monitor anyway. But yeah, I mean, I like all that. So I thought I'll get it. So then it's there when I want it, even if I don't use it immediately. Although I probably will go mental with the VR, the wheel, and I'll drive the shit out of Gran Turismo because I like all different cars. I like driving a Ferrari round Spa, the German track Spa, which is used for F1. But I also like to use the F1 type cars and go around the Red Bull Ring, the Austrian one. That's fun because it feels like I'm in Formula One, you know? It's just cool with the VR on it, even with the controller. So that with the wheel is going to be great. I know I've digressed. But anyway, that's one of the big purchases for me, to be totally honest. The other purchase I've treated myself to. So I haven't gone mental. I've been reining it in. There was a few games I was thinking about, but I was like, you don't need them. You don't need them. You've got enough. And I'm really... before we go there, people complain right now about the price of Nintendo Switch 2 games, and I get it, but they're actually cheap in comparison to PS5. They've got new, like, if you've got a game coming out very rarely, like maybe there's a game out in March and there's another game out maybe July, you don't really think much of it. If it's expensive, you're just thinking, okay, it's a one-off. Even though I don't really buy them that dear because I think it's ridiculous. But when you've got the holiday period like we've got now, and you've got maybe 5 games come out one after another, you can't help but look at the price of games and think this is outrageous. In the UK, I mean, obviously America's probably even more expensive, but in the UK, we're looking at the PlayStation Store. A game comes out at launch, £69.99. £70 for a game. Like, I love games as much as the next person, but I've got a huge catalogue anyway. But of course, we would like to play the latest things. Especially when it's multiplayer, you know, you want to be enjoying it with everybody else. But it's like, this is outrageous. I'm not paying it. Like, I looked and I thought, this is crazy. There was like FIFA FC 26. I thought, I'll be interested in that. £69.99. Going, go do one. I ain't paying that shit. It's stupid because by like Black Friday in 2 months, that'll be about £20-30 off. I've seen it every year it does it. It'll be about £40, £45. And it's like, that's crazy. Gone from 70 to 45 in the space of 2 months but you have to sort of like forego enjoying the experience. But in the meantime, I'd rather do that then because I'm not freaking doing this shit where they think it's okay to fleece people. You can't pay £200 for the best part of 3 games. That's if you're lucky. That's crazy money. I'm not doing it. You know, so if you go on the sales pages of any of these stores, you can buy a load of games at a reduced price if you don't buy the latest and greatest, like the latest games. There's still plenty of older games that are worth playing. So it's about not getting caught up in hype because you'll be freaking hemorrhaging money on shit. Just saying. You know, the steering wheel, for instance, you might think that's a lot of money. That's the same price as buying 2 modern games at the minute when they launch. It's crazy. And then them games are like really, really like low value later. Give it 6 months, they're not worth nowhere near that price. It's just getting caught up in hype, you know. It drives me nuts, though, that the gaming industry's got so greedy. It's just ridiculous. If they drop the price a little bit, they get a lot more sales. It's their own downfall. Anyway. So then I thought about, I wanted a game capture card before. I've had one in the past. Now, because I want to be able to capture some of my Switch stuff and maybe even the PlayStation and even my older consoles. I just think it'd be fun for random video, but I don't want to. Again, it's a bit like the wheel. I don't intend to do it all the time, and it's not something I'm prepared to invest a lot of money into right now because it's not a priority. Then I started figuring out some different use case scenarios for this. Like, oh, that could actually be quite useful. Because I think outside the box, usually, with my finger. So I was going to get, so effectively, you've got Elgato, with probably the bigger brands. They've got a 1080p HD model for the 60 FPS. And I think it's about 110, between 110 and 140 pounds. And then they've got a 4K model that's about 250 pounds. Now, of course, we'd all love to record at 4K. I'm not paying 250 pounds to have the experience. So then I was like, I'm not even paying 100 and something right now. It's not a priority. So I started looking at these low budget ones, and there was a U-Green one, and they're a decent brand. I've got them as a multi-adapter thing, all sorts. I thought, actually, as a brand, they're not too bad. And I started watching some YouTube videos, and it actually worked to my surprise. And it was only £30 on eBay, brand new, or Amazon, brand new. And I was tempted to try it out because you can return on Amazon if you don't work out. But then I thought, I'll have a look on eBay, just see what's about used. Because like I just said, you can get a lot of savings used. And I come across this Razer Ripsaw HD Gamer. Now, this is about 7 years old or something. It's quite an old capture card. It says 4K, it's not. It's saying it 4K bypass, so it pass through. So your screen can still display it, but your recording or the software will be 1080p. But effectively, it's a 1080p 60 FPS capture card that's a bit dated compared to the new ones, but effectively, I'm only looking for it to do it. I got the hardware. My computer can do the grunt work. I just need it to process it to allow it on my screen. So if I can get that working, that's £44 instead of 110 to 150. So I'm always looking for the savings I can do, really, because if it's not a priority for that experience, that'd be fun. So I was thinking, okay, how are we going to practically do this though? Because what I don't want to do is keep moving shit from the living room to put it near my desk in another room upstairs. Who wants to do that every time you want to record? I thought that's just going to drive me nuts. So I started thinking about it before, because I've done it in the past, and I know this is going to be wacky to a lot of people, and there might be latency issues. I really don't know. When I say latency, there might be delays, because obviously the longer a cable is, the more the signal delay and all the audio, it could go out of sync. We'll see. Hopefully not. I bought this cable. I started thinking about it. Now, it's not like you'd have it out all the time, but I'd much rather run a cable from one room to the other than moving a console every single time, because you have to move the power plugs, you're going to have to move the actual machine. Eventually, you're probably going to drop it and break it. Why risk it? So I've got a 20-meter cable for £18, 20 meters, and I thought, this is great. Now, again, you're not going to have it around your house all the time. That's just ridiculous. But when I want to, I can just plug it in one end and then just run it down the stairs, run it into the living room, plug it into the device, and then I don't have to move it. I can just switch it on from wherever, and I'll be able to stream and play it at my desk and record it, because that's the whole point in the first place. And then I thought, oh, well, will this work? Because wait a minute, how are we going to do the controls? If the controls don't get a signal to the device, we get a signel, but we ain't going to get no act. We ain't going to be able to work it. I'd have to play it in the living room. I don't know how that'd work. It wouldn't. So what I did, I got controllers for the Switch and a controller for the PlayStation, and I set my phone up to record the screen in the living room, and I used the to make sure, see if everything's moving. Even though I could hear through the headphones slightly, but I mean, you can't guarantee it. So I thought, I'm going to do it just to see. And the PlayStation controller worked fine, because I must be close enough wireless. And the Switch did too, because I've got a dongle for the Switch where I attach an Xbox Series X controller, and it thinks it's a Pro controller. So I can't say for sure it'd work for everyone natively, but because I've got that, I don't know if that's boosted it. But either way, run that cable from the capture card here at my desk, down the stair, out the door, down the stairs, in the living room, plug it into the console so I can still use my controller here. So I haven't actually been able to move anything. I'm just running a cable around the place. I can put up with that. It's not that messy. I know I can run it, like I've got a banister, so I can just run it along that anyway. It's not like it's going to be plugged in all the time. Then I started thinking a bit more, and I thought, oh, this could actually be useful. This could be really useful, because my desk's in my bedroom, and I've got a TV at the end of the bed, and I'm thinking it's not that much different distance-wise. So if the cable could reach the desk, which obviously 20 meters, one would assume easily, then by extension, it could easily reach the TV. Huh. So rather than attach it all the time to the capture card, I could literally attach it to the telly, and I could then play the PlayStation natively on the telly. I mean, the Switch too. When you want it docked, instead of moving things around to different rooms, I'm just a cable. We'll put the cable there, and if I want to play the PS5 on the telly in the bedroom, again, I just run a cable from the PlayStation to that. So take away the capture card, that cable is pretty awesome. If it works, of course. There's no reason to say it won't. It's a HDMI 2.0 rather than 2.1. So effectively, it can do up to 4K 60 FPS, but it won't handle 120 frames per second. But I don't have TVs that can handle that. My monitor can, but what's the point? On a console. Anyway, that's literally what I've been handling. So that's more of a bit of tech for me to mess about with, to be totally honest. And I do enjoy doing my gaming content. So it allows me to showcase some different games that I've been wanting to, but had limitations. The fact that it's only 1080p is a bit of a hindrance. I won't be 100% happy with the footage, but the alternative is to spend another £200, which I don't particularly want to. I don't care enough about it at the moment. If I got into it and it was a passion, then great, but it's a side project, so it is that. Then, again, bear in mind, I did sell a phone and I did sell this, so I've only spent, so out of this money here, I've only spent an extra, £30 on this to upgrade the wheel because I had a £10 voucher. That's pretty cool. So that was good. Then I treated myself to Mario Kart World for the Switch too because I wanted something native. I don't want to just be playing old Switch games on a new console where it just boosts the performance. It doesn't, it enhances it slightly, but it's not groundbreaking unless you're playing groundbreaking games. I'm really enjoying it. It is different. I hear people complaining. Everybody has their own opinions on things. I'm actually enjoying Mario Kart World. I'm just chilling out. I don't take things as serious, I think, as the average person. People go nuts about anything. Personally, I'm happy. I guess if you've paid a lot more for it, you might have more argument. For £40, I'm really happy with the game. That's just the end of that. £40 £50 for me for a brand new release is reasonable. Anything above that irritates the shit out of me. I won't pay more than that. I'm not paying £60, £70 for games. And some of them are £100. It's actually mental. I won't do it. So I'll just wait until they're reasonable when the companies can get their ass together and actually make something affordable. So Donkey Kong Bonanza is the other one I bought. Now you might say, oh, it's £58. I didn't pay £58. I traded in an old Xbox 360 because I had bought it a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago. I can't remember when. Thought I'd use it. Didn't. It's just sitting there gathering dust. It's a waste of time because it doesn't add anything to my collection. So I traded it in and put a little bit of money, like £14 extra. I think I got like £44 in total trade-in. It was £14 to get the game. So you can actually get that cheap now. I've found on eBay about 40-something pounds on eBay. So if you're on a budget, have a look on eBay. That's a great source of thingy. But I got it for £14. So to be honest, I haven't overspent. I don't think I've gone crazy. I've not wanted to overspend on anything. So literally, all I've done is paid an extra £30 for the wheel. Treated myself to this cable and this Razer thing. I got Mario World and Donkey Kong Bonanza. Yeah. And if you can get things like Klarna and things, you can split the costs anyway, so it makes it even easier to acquire some things you want. But even then, I think it's be accountable for the things we spend our money on. But I'm really happy with my upgrades, to be honest. I haven't got the wheel yet, but it can only be better than what I had, so it can't be worse. So that's good. And it opens up the PlayStation 5 a bit. And then this is going to be fun because there are certain things I want to record. I do want to showcase some of the Switch 2. Specifically the two recent games, but it'd be nice to showcase some Mario games. Also want to show off Astrobot on the PS5. I've been wanting to showcase that, but nothing I do does it justice. If this thing can work, that's great. One would assume it should work. I mean, there's no reason to say it can't just because it's older. So if you do see any footage, you'll know it's from this thing, provided it works, of course. So we've got Astrobot. I do want to show The Last of Us as well because my PC. I've got it on PC as well, but my gaming laptop has a hard time rendering the game and encoding it as a recording as well. So it's almost like the game's pushed it to its limit. It doesn't want to record it. So if I can get a capture from the PlayStation, that will then take away all of the resources from the laptop and it'll easily record it. In theory. Yeah, anyway. Anyway, that's my little thing. I thought I'd just showcase that because it might help people. That's what I thought. I thought, well, I can keep it to myself, just get on. But maybe me talking about the steering wheel might make people aware of the different models. Sort of, like I say, so we've got the G920. So some people label it wrong on eBay and they do it on purpose, I think. I don't think that's stupid. Because the G29 is more popular than the G920 because it's PlayStation. It just seems more. It just seems more popular. Someone with a G920 will title it a G29. It's stupid. A G29 wheel has the PlayStation logo instead of Xbox. So if you just look on the wheel, you'll see a PlayStation logo or an Xbox. You'll also see the different branding on the like the action buttons. You know, like in X square and all those things. PlayStation's different to Xbox. They have different. They have symbols, so they have like square, triangle, circle, and X. The Xbox will have like A, B, and X and Y. So they're obvious markings as well. And the PlayStation model has a rev counter at the top of the wheel, so it has something a little bit extra. It has a red circle knob around it, and some other little things, and blue button things. So it's a bit more. It's more colourful. Straight away, you'll notice it. One's colourful, one's bland. PlayStation's colourful. Now, I've seen people trying to sell a G29 as the G923, the new wheel I've got coming. And it's not a G923 because they know it's expensive wheel. They're trying to trick you. They're playing dumb, but it's stupid because people surely would return it. Again, the G923 actually doesn't have all the colourings that the G29 has. This little wheel, I don't know if you can see it in the image, but it's got the same wheel radial that you had on the like brake bias and all sorts of things. That's on the G29, but the G29 is red. It's got a red one. That's not colourful. So that's how you know differences. But I hate when people oversell things. It's like they'll say something like, even if he's buying an Xbox, they'd say they title it as the more premium Xbox. It just drives you nuts because they know it's getting more money. And if you're a parent and you don't know what you're looking at, you're going to fall for this shit. But yeah, anyway, so that's what I've done. And I think this cable is just a really good idea. I've done it in the past. I had one that was long and it broke in the past. So I don't know if they're more susceptible to damage. But I can make my peace with that, even if it lasts like 6 months. I think £18 for 6 months of usage. If I'm using it a lot, great. You know, I've heard of I think there are concepts where you can get wireless ones, which would be a good idea, but I really don't know about the quality. Where it'll have a HDMI bit and have like a wireless transmitter on it. And then the other one will have a receiver. So you could literally plug them in, and then that's something to consider at some point. But to be honest, I just thought as long as the cable is, and then there might be a latency issue, I'm thinking the wireless might have worse. Not something I'm prepared to really investing at the moment. But as gnarly as a cable could look, I think it's got to be better than just constantly moving a device all the time, like from this place to that place to this place. It's not really viable, especially when you've got multiple devices. It's just a pain in the ass. You know, like I can connect the Switch 2, I can connect the PS5, I can connect an Xbox Series, Xbox One X, should I say, and a PS3. I don't think it's going to be able to record my. Again, these are use case scenarios. Why not give it a go? I've got VHS tapes that I keep for preservation. If there's a chance that it could, I think the encryption would stop it because they usually have things like that. But if that could record my VHS tapes to digital, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? So you use your recording software, turn the microphone and all features off, and you just let it run and record. And then you make a file of it, and then you can use some software to compress the video a little bit to stop it being so large file. That's something to toy with, but I've got a feeling that nothing will display, and it wouldn't be a surprise because of the technology that encrypts it to stop you from doing copy protected stuff. Effectively, that's what that would be. But I'm not one that wouldn't try. So again, I do think outside the box. When I see an opportunity for something, I tend to think of the other ways it could be put to use. So almost like exploit an opportunity to make more use of it. So something that started as a capture device just to record, turn it into more of a way potentially to keep something in one place and distribute it onto another screen in another room without the hassle of constantly relocating something. I thought, oh, that's actually useful because I could have done that a long time ago. Needed the cable. But again, if anyone thinks to do anything similar, just go and check your controllers first. You know, make sure you can connect to the device and it actually works from whatever location you're in, because you might run a cable and buy the cable, run it all, and go, oh, this works. And then you go to use your controller, and it turns out you need to be closer to the console in your house or wherever you're located. You know, that wouldn't be wise. So always think about all the stages to something working that would need to be put in place for it to work. Oh, the other thing to add with this wheel upgrade is I kept I've got the shifter. It's not the best shifter in the world, but a shifter's a shifter. And again, for trucking, it's great. So when I sold my wheel and pedals, I didn't sell the shifter because I bought it separately. And that shifter also works with the newer thing, which I knew. So again, didn't have to buy that again. But yeah, they're my little upgrades, really. There's only one thing I'm thinking of still getting, and that's it. There are games I do want that are just releasing, and it's like, but again, I can't justify the pricing right now. It's frustrating, but here you go. But there is, I'm still thinking about getting Resident Evil Village on PS5. It's currently on sale for £13. I think it's about £13 gold edition, so it has all the DLC. I'm not a huge Resident Evil fan, but I was playing the demo on my VR, and my God, that was incredible. Like, it was great, and I thought, I want that. And then I was like, oh, it's not on sale. I'm not paying all that for it. And now it come on sale. I'm like, that's tempting. Especially, it's the best version. It comes with the VR included as well. So it's not a VR game. It's a game that has a VR mode included. So it can turn the whole game. You can play your game on the screen. It'll look great. Then, or you can put the VR headset on and you're in the game. And I was doing it through the villagey bit. It was a bit of pain going through the snow and shit. I was getting a bit lost. Then I got through this set piece, and it opened up. And I kid you not, there was this castle in the distance, and the village just below the castle. And you're on this like cliff edge with all the snow and the trees, and it's like winter. And you just looked and thought, bloody hell, this is outrageous. It felt like I was literally standing there in this real community, you know? And I just went, this is nuts. Like, VR has got so good. And then I was actually walking through the little village, like literally walking through it. Like, you would, if you was to put yourself, if you was to have a vision, like you was actually like, let's say you had a dream, and you in that dream, you was walking through that's literally what it's like. You're literally there. And you're seeing it, and you can move, you can interact, you can see different angles. And I'm like, personally, for £13, even if I don't get anywhere else beyond that little village and I see that castle, I think it's worth just transporting myself there for a little bit, because I'm like, I'm mesmerized with it, you know? So yeah, I probably will get it because I wanted it when I played the demo and it wasn't available on sale. And it seems stupid to miss an opportunity over the sake of £13. But this is what I'm saying. You've got games coming out for £70, and then you've got all these other diamonds of like £13 for that, £8 for that, £15 for that. I know it adds up if you buy a load, but no one's saying you need to buy all of them. But I think when a deal comes out, it's like gaming can be as cheap or as expensive as you want it to be, effectively. It's just that, what do you want to do? You know, Donkey Kong Bonanza, it's a rare gem. For me, it's a generational game in the same way Mario Odyssey was. It starts off for me a bit repetitive and boring, to be honest. The demo was, but I had faith that it'll get better. I've just got out of one section, and it's a complete new area, and I'm like, this game is actually great. Like, I'm truly loving it, and I can see this being one of the flagship games for the entire era of Switch 2, in the same way Mario Odyssey was. But I'm not going to be paying this price every time a game releases. I'll be picky about which game I get and whether I wait for people to have played it for a few months and then go on eBay and grab it cheap. Right now, just to put it in context, you can get, I think, Zelda Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, 2 flagship games from previous generation Switch. They're now on Switch 2, and they got enhancements. And the Switch 2 variant, let's just say on average about £55. If you really wanted to save some money, you can go on like places like eBay, and you can get the Switch version for £25, about £25, £27, let's say roughly there right now. And then you can obviously put it in your Switch, and then you can pay for the upgrade for £8. So effectively, for about £35, you could have either of those games that would naturally cost you £55. So you save 20 quid straight away just by a used copy of one of those games, and then buy the upgrade license through Switch when on the store. So £20. And with the Switch, like, the games do get expensive for first-party games, so every saving's a worthwhile, wasn't it? So effectively, let's say if they do that. Let's say you did Tears of the Kingdom and you did Breath of the Wild, both £55, £110 for 2 games. That is pushing it. Or you go and do eBay, like I just said, let's say £27 each game, and then there's £8, £7 upgrade. So effectively, they're £35 each. So instead of £110, it's cost you £70 for both of them. It's £40 saving now. You know, these are the things that add up. £40 saving, £58 for that game. All of a sudden, you're getting close to hitting that. In fact, you could probably get that near enough, similar to that difference on eBay. So if you used to go on eBay, you could get you can have Switch 2 versions in total of Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, and Donkey Kong Bonanza, rather than just Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. You literally end up getting Donkey Kong Bonanza for free. Yeah, we think outside the box, but we have to allow things to have been out for a while. If we get caught up in hyperbole advertising, that's what it is. That's what gets into your head. Something comes out, I need to be there day one, or I'm missing out. It's that fear of missing out kills you. Oh, well, I'm not letting it get to me. I've got other games to play that maybe I didn't play earlier in the year. I've got things to enjoy. I've got other things I actually have to take care of, projects. So I'm not getting caught up in all that crap. I'm just living in my own little bubble, enjoying myself. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying Mario Kart. 2 games I treated myself to. Really, really happy with them. So it's not like I get distracted everywhere else. You know, I love the PS5. I've been moving away from my PC because of the convenience, and it does look great. But now I'm getting fed up with the prices on the store of the releases. I'm thinking that's not sustainable, and I'm not investing in it. You can save about 10, 15, 20 quid on PC when a game launches. It's ridiculous how cheap it is on a PC, and it can actually look better. It's just you've got the comfort of the sofa. And I do like the PlayStation ecosystem, but I'm not paying the freaking prices. And I think they might wonder why sales dwindle, and it'd be like people are just going to end up stopping with this shit. It's too expensive. Now, ways you can go about doing it: you can buy yourself gift cards that are cheaper from other stores, put that money towards the store. Either way, at the moment, you're not going to get like FC26. It's a £70 game. You are not right now going to get it less than £62 in any way you try and do it. I don't think it's possible. Because the cheapest way on PlayStation would be to have if you've got EA Play, that's different. So if you've got EA Play, you get 10% off the game. The EA Play costs £5.99 a month. It's a £70 game. You pay for EA Play. It's cost you £6. You get 10% off the game. So you're going to save £7. So then you can get the game for £63, but you've just paid £6. So you're at £69 anyway. But if you've got a wallet, maybe you can get it into 58-ish. I really don't know. Doing the maths, it's still too expensive, so who gives a shit? They're just greedy corporations, and there's no need for this. But anyway, so when you consider the price of gaming right now, I think I've done well with what I've purchased, personally. I've controlled myself to just enjoy what I got. And yeah, I'm not going crazy because it's just not sustainable. We'll probably got to think if you're like that and you buy a game and it makes you feel like you're missing out all the time. It's like, think about it. If you used to buy one, let's say there's 5 or 6 games coming out and you want all of them. If you buy the first game, is it going to make you satisfied, or are you going to want to buy all of them? Because if you're not happy and content until you've got all of them, you might as well not buy any of them. You might as well just enjoy what you got and wait for the prices to drop and actually have a look at the sales and stuff and grab some games now that are sitting at a reasonable price, like I'm going to do with The Village. That's a new experience for me. I don't care if it's been out for a while. For me, it's new. And it's like, to be honest, none of the other games are going to make me as excited as that when I'm looking at the freaking thing. There's a lot of horror in this game, to be honest, as well, though. That gets quite annoying. Because I'm trying to freaking grab a gun and load it. Like, I'm doing this shit. I've got a shotgun, which is really annoying. You're going to try and load it, and you've got a freaking like zombie monster coming at you, and you're trying to freaking shoot it. You go, freaking heck. But, yeah. Well, how far I get into it, I've got no idea. But, yeah, so that's an experience. But anyway, hopefully that's been probably a bit dull, but hopefully it's been interesting and informative. Because to be honest, sometimes I think I can say nothing, but why not talk? And I do notice something. Look, to be honest, I know even when I'm rambling, I personally, because I have to watch all my content back to see if it's worth posting it. Should I just unlist it? Is it not good enough? All those things, and how could I improve it? I wouldn't say that. I'm a perfectionist in the sense that I'm a perfectionist to myself. I'm not saying what I do is perfect, but I do watch what I do. And it's always important to learn from ourselves, you know, because some people are just like, I think their ego runs rampant and they think they're like this marvel, and there's so much room for improvement. So like I say, the content of this might be boring in general, I don't know. But what I would say is, I think personally, like when I watch, well, I say I think, because when I watch my own content back, I'm actually quite impressed, if I'm honest. I watch other people who have far significant following to me in the gaming community. Mine isn't really gaming per se all the time, but I do see a lot of content creators who they're not. I don't think they're as good, and that's just being totally transparent. And so I like listening to me. Like when I watch my stuff back, I like it. So I'm looking for content with a similar vibe, to be totally honest. People who kind of can articulate things, they're knowledgeable. And there are some places I see that, and there's other places where someone's voice just goes through my head, and it does my head in. Or there's someone that speaks fast. They've clipped it where they don't even there's no pause for breath, and that gives me a headache. It gives you anxiety because it's like it's too fast. Like why? It's like they're doing it to keep your attention span, but it actually drives me nuts because a lot of people are just after attention all the time. So their content is done in a way to be almost like these social media influencers, and I can't handle that shit. I don't like that fake style, and I think that's what a lot of people do. So there's a lot of content creators who are loud, or they're in your face, or they're just extreme. You know what I'm talking about. If they've got a phone, they'll just start ramping it in your face straight away, and they're talking loud, they're assertive, and it's like, just calm down, mate. That's just ridiculous. You can just talk like if I was promoting the phone, I wouldn't be going, check out the iPhone 17 Pro. I can't believe how good this is. Check it. It's like, this is nuts. Calm down, mate. I would just talk in general. Like, I just got iPhone 17 Pro. The battery. I personally think the battery is better than the 14 Pro. One would expect. It was about 81% capacity before. We've now got this little button here, which apparently, from what I've heard, is also on a 16 Pro, but as I didn't have one, I've only just found out about it. I've only recently just started double tapping the back on the Apple logo so I can take screenshots. There's also an action button here, which used to be to put you in airplane mode and silence. You can now turn that into whatever you want. So it can be a camera, it can be all sorts of features, or you can disable it. So there's features on this, and when you go on the camera, for instance, whether it was a thing before, I don't know. But when it says like one times, if you just tap it, it will use one of the other cameras, and it does 3 different variants without it being a massive zoom. It just does a variant, like an incremental zoom from a different camera. It's quite cool, which I didn't know about. That's obviously a software thing, I would assume, rather than a hardware thing. Who knows? But like I say, I'm not interested in being dramatic with anything. I can't stand it. It gives me a headache. Then there was a video I was watching yesterday because I genuinely wanted to hear about a product. Again, it might be, I can't remember the exact one. I think it was the wheel, because I was looking. I bought the wheel, but I was still interested in it. So let's see some use cases. There was someone had over 100,000 followers, and I just thought that's remarkable. Like, I'd usually give people kudos for that. Like, you've done something great. But I was listening and I thought, I can't even hear half the sentence. Like, you're mumbling. The majority of their words were mumbled. Like, it was absolutely mental. And it's so, I'm not here to just go on a massive tangent about how great I am and how crap everyone else is. But there is an art to anything you do. And so it's about crafting that. And I do take things serious. I hold myself accountable, and I'm always looking to improve. And like I say, when I'm on YouTube just trying to enjoy myself and relax, it's really hard for me to find content creators really that I can vibe with, that I actually think, you know what, this is great, because it might be the content's good in terms of visuals, but they're not articulating very well, or the microphone's absolute shit. There was someone I was listening to yesterday, and I just thought, okay, I'm listening to what you're saying, but you've got I pick up on everything, to be honest. I looked and thought, your microphone's crap. You've got a condenser microphone. They've got one of those microphones that pick up every noise in the room, so the microphone's further away from them, so it's not really amplifying their voice. It's just making it recognizable. So it was all flat, distorted, and it was changing every time they were moving. So 1 minute they're here, next minute they're here, then they're here. It's like there was no professionalism to it. If you're going to create content and it's you talking, then surely your speech is going to be the most pronounced thing of the content. Even you can make it as visually stunning as you want. In that case, it wasn't. It was more just like the topic they were talking about. And normally I give likes to people. If I've been entertained by a video, I'll click like. I like to do things like that. I don't engage. I just click like. But sometimes if something's annoyed me enough, I can't even bring myself to like, even though I think it'd be nice to just to acknowledge. But I'm like, I don't want to be downvoting them, so I'm just going to do nothing. So that's what I'm like, really. But yeah, there is a level of account. I know this is digressed from this content, but it's so annoying when people just I don't think they're professional enough, or it just gives you a freaking headache. And I just think we evolved, to be honest, because there's someone I used to like watching, but now their voice is going through my head. And I've noticed their content's actually driving me nuts as well. So I'm like, I think I've outgrown this now. But it's a strange one, isn't it? Where you enjoy people's content and then you watch it long enough and you're like, this is doing my head in now. And that's someone with like a mass following. It's gaming content. But yeah, I'm not going to give out names and things. But it just, I just want that to be shown as well, like to people. I know we're talking about gaming, but we're digressing a bit here. If you ever want to be a content creator, so don't worry about how many people are following you and things. It might be your audience haven't found you yet, and people are attracted to a certain style at the moment. Doesn't mean that style will stay in fashion. As I've just said, someone I liked before, I'm thinking they're annoying now. So yeah, I'll walk away from that because people have a habit of following trends. So like I said, the people that are just on your face with something and they're talking like this, and it's like, oh my God, shut the hell up. Like I just think, shut up, you're giving me a headache. I'm quite honest like that, And it's like, take time to breathe. Just, you don't need to shout, you don't need to do all this obnoxious shit. And at least try and you don't even have to have an expensive microphone. A lot of time it isn't how expensive the microphone is, it's how people use the microphone. And it absolutely drives me nuts. They'll put a microphone like miles away from them, or they might have one of those stupid wireless ones. They're ridiculous. But it's literally how a distance they are from it. But a lot of the time, I personally think it's a software issue. I've already done videos on my software. I use SteelSeries Sonar. Check it out. It's not hard. It's not complicated. Just make sure the mic is actually, before you record any content, I have to check every time. It drives me nuts because sometimes it will switch. So the mic, effectively, my software uses SteelSeries Sonar. I don't assign the microphone as the microphone. I assign it as the software, because then the software does the processing and then it can deliver the better amplified sound, because I've took the time to do that. So now, if the microphone in that software, the one it's assigned to actually process it all, was my webcam, for instance, now all of a sudden the microphone, it might be okay, it might be of a reasonable standard. It's not going to be a standard of a decent microphone. So now the quality of my content's diminished. So just make sure before you do a recording that everything is set up. Like if you've got headphones, put your headphones on first, because what you don't want to do is set all that up, put your headphones on, and then the microphone that might be available through your headphones all of a sudden knocks off the other one. So that's what I do. I put my headphones on, wait for it to connect, wait for it to say that. I don't have anything playing. It's just the noise cancelling kicks in. That's all I want. Noise cancel, shut the shit out. And then I go into my software and I just assign it there. I'll show it actually. We can do that now. I know I'm digressing, but I don't care. I'll do anything. We'll go off track because I'm not going to be doing much content soon. I don't think. I might do my gaming stuff sometimes, but I don't know what I'm doing at the moment, to be totally honest. I've got no idea. Let me just pause it a minute. So as you can see, I was just making sure it's still paused. I don't know if we did pause it at the end actually. I don't care. But anyway, still is Sonar, as you can see there. Sonar. We've got all this monster stuff. Who cares about any of this? Just ignore it. What we want is the mic. And then we've got the analog here. We can probably change it while I'm talking if you want to hear it. I'm not sure it's going to come through, to be totally honest. I think I might have disabled it. Yeah, I won't be able to do it. I think in my settings, I actually disabled the webcam, and I don't really want it interfering anymore. So you can do that in your inputs. Input audios, you can go click on it and then disable it so it doesn't bloody interact anymore. But what will happen here is where I've got my Focusrite. So effectively, my microphone goes into an audio interface which then, as a USB from that, goes to my computer. So it doesn't know the microphone, it knows the audio interface. So I could put a different microphone into that. There's a whole thing. Anyway, so it knows what that is and I know what it is. So as long as it says that, I know we're good. It's a bit annoying, really. I wish we could change that microphone, but I can't change it at the minute. So what one would I want to do? Yeah, this is it, mic. So we go mic at the top, and we can change. You can change all sorts of stuff. I've got it on deep voice. It hasn't made it much more deeper. It just gives it a bit more punch. And I'm thinking that's good. Amplifier. I don't like that radio audio where everyone's so deep it sounds stupid. I don't like none of that shit. I've got a fan blowing at me here. I've got a fan blowing at me here. So let's take some of the noise cancelling off, and let's see if we get weird ambient noise. So we'll do that. Right, we haven't got that at the moment. There's another one, noise gate. Let's turn that off. Right, so I can see on my bar that it's moving up when I'm not doing anything. You might be getting the fan noise. Let me turn the fan full blast. Let's just see if you hear that. I'm assuming you can. And these are what I'm talking about. If people don't have things enabled, you're not gonna have the right experience. You need to make sure it's all set. I've got a compressor set which says automatically keep the voice in range. So effectively, I think that what that's saying is you don't have massive highs and massive lows. It tries to, no matter how animated you get or subtle, it will keep the volume equal, which I like. So what we want to do is put noise gate. So we'll do this. We're going to hear that noise. You're going to hear it shut off. So we've turned that one off. So noise gate turns the microphone off when there's no sound heard. Because it still heard the mic, I don't think it's shut off with that one. But this noise cancellation here, boom, only picks me up. Room's silent now because the software. But if you don't run software and you just think, oh, I'm just going to play, do this, I'm going to talk, it's so crap. And it's just, I'm just saying, you either take the stages to work on it. I've tried all sorts of software, believe me, and I've had to go manually adjusting settings and all sorts. And then I come across this one and I was like, this is just ticks all the boxes for me. I'm so happy with it. And it's not even complicated. You can manually do your equalizer. You can change all that, whatever you want to do, change your range and all sorts. But again, you don't want to sound too much not like you know. But that's just one part of it, of course. Then we go on a mixer and make sure we're set up there. That's literally all it is. But you can't. But people can't be bothered to look up to learn anything, you know. And I think one of the biggest issues I think for content creators is they rarely watch their own content back. How can you expect people to watch your content if you won't even watch it? That's part of it. So I spend way too much time with my content creation. I do, and it annoys me because I've got other things to do too. Because let's say I've done an hour video, I'm gonna at some point, probably briefly after, because I don't know exactly what I said. I know what I've done the video, but sometimes it's nice to hear it back. But I have to anyway, you know, because if there's any issue in there, maybe the audio goes off halfway through. How would I know? You know, so I listen to it all the way back, and then I can critique myself or praise myself or whatever. You know, I might think that was great. I do that a lot of time, to be totally honest. I'm more often than not, I'm like, that was great. So if there's got no views, like it's irrelevant to me. That was great. Obviously, why would I create in the first place? But if you're going to create anything, you definitely want to get the standard right. Anyway, this is a bit of a tangent. It's a bit of a tangent. So what I may do with this video is I've not decided yet. So if anyone sees this video and it's split and you think, what's he talking about? He keeps talking about another video all the time. It might be that I split the video in two, because at the moment I'm thinking this video has digressed a lot from what I did. It started off with the video. Again, it might all be one, so you might think, what's he talking about now? There's no way of knowing how I'm going to play this. Effectively, for those, just in case I do split it, I created a video just to share some of the things I've bought, and just like a bit of a wheeling dealing, really, to show the upgrades and things like that. Just like things in tech and gaming. And then I've gone on a massive tangent about content creators and being professional. And I don't know if I should have done that or not. So it's like, oh, maybe I'll keep it in one video, maybe I don't. Maybe I do. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I could give examples. No, I probably won't. I think people can figure it out for themselves. I don't want to pick at people. I can, because there's many examples of content creators that drive me nuts. Like many. Social media, YouTube, everywhere. They're everywhere. They're literally everywhere. But no, that'll do me.